In the wake of the shootings, the debate in Washington turned immediately to how and whether new limits on gun ownership can and should be enacted. Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein of California has pledged to revive a law banning assault weapons. She's chairwoman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and she joins us now. Welcome, Senator.
Thank you very much.
With half of the members of the Senate getting an A rating from the National Rifle Association, do you have any sense that things will be different now for the assault weapons ban than it has been in the past?
Well, I have every sense that it's an uphill road. It was in the past when we did it in the past. I wrote that bill. My office wrote that bill. It went through. It was not amended. It went through the Senate, the House. It was signed by the President, and it was the law for 10 years.
The time has come for those of you to say that the only way for Congress to make their seats safe is to make the rest of America safer.
In the end, even former President Clinton's own anti-gun Justice Department declared the ban had no impact on crime or criminals. And Clinton was forced to admit his gun ban was a political debacle for him and 20 members of Congress who lost their jobs in 1994 because they abandoned your rights.
The assault weapon. The assault weapon is developed for military purposes to kill in close combat. And it doesn't belong in the streets of our cities.
For months, ranchers have told us that the battle for this border is moving north onto their land. Tonight, one Valley rancher explains why the days of patrolling his property with a handgun on his hip for protection are over. He needs more firepower.
Barbed wire fencing doesn't keep illegal immigrants off the property anymore. This rancher doesn't care about the illegals. He worries about the smugglers protecting their loads.
And I don't think they would have any conscience of taking someone's life.
He saw that will to kill firsthand. A smuggler shot at him on his own land.
One round was fired at me and it missed my head by about 2 feet.
He says there's only one way to react.
And it doesn't belong where it can be picked up easily by a grievance killer who can walk into a workplace, a mall, a theater, and now an elementary school and kill large numbers.
With guns comes safety if the guns are in the hands of the good guys. And when you say the good guys can't have guns, the bad guys have a monopoly, and horrible things such as the shooting at the schools take place.
What we're trying to do is ban the sale, the manufacture, the transfer, the importation of assault weapons. And it gets quite technical, and I won't go into that right now. Grandfather weapons that people already have, subject those weapons either to licensing or to a trigger lock.
Registration in this case led to confiscation. They confiscated my firearm. No, they didn't break down the door in the middle of the night and come in and get my gun. But what they told me is if you don't turn in the gun, we are going to break down the door and come and get you.
And spell out those grandfathered weapons, which would be over 900 in the bill. So nobody can say, oh, we took their hunting weapon away. Then I'd be able to say, here's your hunting weapon. It's specifically exempted in the bill.
The Second Amendment is not about duck hunting. And I know I'm not going to make very many friends saying this, but it's about our rights, all of our rights, to be able to protect ourselves from all of you guys up there.
It would ban approximately 100 weapons by actual name, and then weapons by physical characteristics.
This is how ridiculous it is. None of this has any effect on this. It all has to do with these cosmetic features that make no difference in the way the gun actually functions or the way it can be misused by a criminal.
It's the big clip, drum, or strip that is also banned from sale, manufacture, importation, transfer. So it's the clip that enables you to have the firepower.
Then he did the 6 shots, a reload, and 6 shots in 2.99 seconds.
Stand by.
2.99. Go.
Gun control activists have said that they believe that the president's first term was a failure, and people who are gun rights activists, have said that the president wants to legislate the Second Amendment out of existence, which is true or is neither true?
Oh, neither is true.
Obama's anti-gun record is long. In 2004, he voted against legislation drafted to protect homeowners from prosecution in cases where they used a firearm to halt a home invasion. In 2003, he voted in support of legislation that would have effectively banned most of the privately held hunting shotguns, target rifles, and black powder rifles in Illinois. And in 1996, Obama supported a ban on the manufacture, sale, and possession of handguns. But
people who support the right to own arms, that this is the camel's nose under the tent, and the next thing you'll be after concealed carry weapons. You'll be after other kinds of gun rights. Well,
That's just not true. It wasn't true with the prior bill that was the law for 10 years. And I just think, candidly, that dog doesn't hunt.
If I could have gotten 51 votes in the Senate of the United States for an outright ban, picking up every one of them, Mr. and Mrs. America, turn them all in, I would have done it. I could not do that. The votes weren't here.
Why shouldn't it be true? Why wouldn't you want to go after those other laws?
Because that's not what I've done in the past, and it's not what I'm doing right now.
For an outright ban, picking up every one of them.
And these guns, because they kill large numbers of people very quickly, they aren't used for hunting. They aren't hunting weapons.
You know, the right to bear arms is because that's the last form of defense against tyranny. Not to hunt. It's to protect yourself from the police.
You don't need them for defense. They are military-style weapons, and they don't belong in the streets of our cities or our towns.
A 15-year-old at home with his 12-year-old sister when burglars try to break in.
That's when investigators say the boy grabbed his dad's assault rifle and started shooting, and he hit one of the men repeatedly. This all unfolded this afternoon in the 2600 block of Royal Place Court.
These guns are the guns that the grievance killers, that gangs, that people who want to do real damage look for.
You know, the right to bear arms is because that's the last form of defense against tyranny. Not to hunt. It's to protect yourself from the police.
But it's about our rights, all of our rights, to be able to protect ourselves from all of you guys like this.
But just try to stay out of my way. Just try. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.